This is a podcast of 98FM's Dublin Talks. Remember, catch the show live Monday to Friday at 10 a.m.
98FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
98FM. Now, Avril, you believe or you feel that you were made feel like an outcast for bottle feeding. By who?
Yeah, absolutely. By everybody, to be honest. So, I think everyone thinks, it's very, very natural that the baby latches on and everything just happens like the way we see in the movies. But for me, I had said before I had my baby, I'm going to breastfeed. It didn't happen. The baby didn't latch. I didn't know what I was doing. There's not really that many resources, even though they're promoting breastfeeding. There was no resources in the hospital to show me what to do. So it was 8 hours later. My baby hadn't got any milk whatsoever from me. So I said, look, give me a bottle. So I started, so that's kind of where I started bottle feeding from. So it was very quickly. And basically when one of the midwives was going around, she asked me, are you breastfeeding? And I said, no, I'm bottle feeding at the moment. And she said, okay, so you're artificially feeding your baby. And I was like, I guess so. I didn't know what to say. And it just kind of spiraled from there.
Was it in a smart way she said it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite smart. I think because they're being told now you really have to promote breastfeeding, they're kind of making you feel like crap, to be honest, if you don't even, if you can't do it even for a day or something. And for me, I just genuinely couldn't. But even going on from there, then I joined a couple of mother and baby groups, and you have all the yummy mummies kind of breastfeeding, and I was sitting there with my bottle, and you could just tell a mile away that they were all. Oh, they're so
self-righteous. So look at me, I'm a natural breastfeeder. Yeah.
Absolutely, and they kind of so my little one was she's just a small little kind of baby, but they were like, you just wouldn't, look at our babies, they're all naturally fed, and they're putting on more weight than your baby and stuff like that. They're genuinely, that is the way it is now. I've been to loads of mother and baby groups, and they're all the same.
The thing is, you did actually try, and it doesn't work. And it can be quite psychologically damaging for women. I know that if they try to breastfeed and it doesn't work for them, they can feel like a failure, that they failed their baby. But you know what? That's human nature. It doesn't work out for some people. At least you tried. I have a friend in South America. In South American countries, it's standard breastfeeding. It's just a given that's what they do. And I have a friend from South America. And when the baby was born, she breastfed, and it was hurting her so much she was crying because it just wasn't working for her. And she continued to do it. And I remember saying to her at the time, she was crying there. She was in the room with us one day. She came over on holidays, and she was still breastfeeding, and she was there crying as the baby was latching on. And I said, why are you doing this to yourself? And she says, because more or less you're a social outcast if you tell people that you've bottle fed. I mean, when we had our baby in Spain. And he was then onto bottles. He moved on to bottles because it wasn't working for my wife either. And we found it near impossible to find formula milk in Spain because so many Spanish mothers do breastfeed. But it's a shame that you were treated in a way. Stay for a second, please, Avril, because Susanna, you believe that every woman should at least try once.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds like that lady you're speaking to there had a horrendous experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
I completely disagree with that kind of attitude. It's so counterproductive.
And to be shamed. Sorry, Avril, was that a nurse or a midwife that shamed you and said, oh, you're artificially feeding your baby? Avril, are you there?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Was that a nurse or a midwife that said that to you?
Yeah, that was a midwife that said it to me.
Yeah, that's appalling. That's appalling. I don't agree with that kind of carry on at all. I think, there is a big push towards encouraging women to breastfeed, and I do think that every woman should at least try. And it sounds like, Avril, that's what you did. You gave it a really good shot and it just didn't work out, and that happens. And there's absolutely no point in shaming a woman for that.
No, why would you?
It's psychologically damaging, as you said there, to go through your pregnancy with the expectation that you're going to have, these wonderful breastfeeding experience, and then it doesn't work out. And that can really, really, with your hormones already going crazy after pregnancy, it's not a good situation to be in.
Okay, but then on the flip side, and this isn't you, Avril, I'm not talking about you here, but then on the flip side, ladies, you have women who decide even before the baby's born, I'm not going to breastfeed, I just don't want to, I couldn't be bothered, and they won't even give it a try. What would you say about those people, Susanna?
Well, no, I don't agree with that either. I think you have a responsibility to at least try, because it is proven that it's the best possible food for the child. Your breast milk is tailor-made for that baby. It's more digestible than formula. It's got huge immunological benefits as well. And like when you're breastfeeding, the baby essentially has your immune system, which is a massive, benefit for the child, obviously.
And a benefit for you is actually post-pregnancy weight loss as well, of course, from breastfeeding.
Well, there's that, but more importantly than the weight aspect.
And by the way, I'm not saying that's the most important thing. By the way,
oh no,
I
get that, but there is, you're right, there are benefits for the mother as well, but the more important benefit that people tend to fall short on, that they don't understand or convey properly to mothers, is when you have female hormone-related cancers.
Okay.
Breastfeeding is preventative for many of those cancers, particularly ovarian cancer.
Okay,
so
you've given all the positives to why a woman should breastfeed, but for you to say that every woman should at least try once, is that not forcing your beliefs on every single woman?
Well, maybe it is. I don't know. That's just my opinion. But I do think that they should, because it doesn't take much to try. It takes very little effort to simply put the child to your breast. It's not a difficult thing to do. If it doesn't work, absolutely go with the formula. I have no problems with women who can't for whatever reason. I've had 4 children, and I've breastfed all of them. My first 2, I was quite young when I had them. I was 18 when I had my first, and I was 19 when I had my second. But I breastfed both of them up to 3 months, and then I went down to bottles. And for my later 2, my sons, they were both born with tongue ties. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, a child with a tongue tie is very painful to breastfeed because they can't latch properly. And it can be excruciating for the mother. Now, with my first son, it wasn't so bad. His wasn't a terribly bad tongue tie. But with my second son, I had to have his. And sorry,
basically, sorry for cutting across you. Basically, for people who don't know what that is, it's where isn't there attachment on the baby's tongue, which means the range of motion that the baby's tongue has isn't the same as normal, so it can be. That's obviously why it's more painful for you to breastfeed.
That's it. They just can't latch properly. They don't, as you said, they don't have the range of motion to lift up their tongue. But it makes breastfeeding very, very painful. It's a lot more common than people realise, and midwives really fall down on warning parents about this beforehand. There should be more support. It's not just good enough to go around saying, oh, you need to breastfeed. Put the supports in place first. They need to have more lactation consultants in hospitals.
Okay, so what would you say, Susanna? What would you say to all the women who just don't even attempt it once, don't even try once, just, no, it's not going to be for me?
Well, I think they're missing out. I think, it's a wonderful experience to be able to breastfeed. At least give it a try. I mean, like I said, it takes no effort to just put the child to your breast.
Stay there for a second, please, Susanna. By the way, the results of our poll, I was asking you whether or not you breastfed or bottle-fed if you've had a baby in the last 10 years. And bizarrely, 98FM Dublin Talks, women are big breast people, they are, because 72% of you breastfed your baby. Now, I didn't ask for how long you did, but that's a fairly high percentage. That's certainly above the percentage for this country. Let me go to one last call. Louise, you're on 98FM. How are you?
Hiya, how are you?
Grand. Now, you breastfed all your kids, is that correct?
I did, yeah.
Did you breastfeed them for a certain amount of time, or was it up until...
My first I did till about 9 months, and then the second 2 about 6 months.
Okay, and what do you make of this new proposal to stop judging and shaming women who don't even attempt to breastfeed?
I agree with it, to be honest with you, because I just think it's too much pressure. Like that last lady, I didn't hear some of the conversation, but just the last thing she said was, put the baby to your breast. It's no effort. It is an effort. It's a huge effort. And it's hard work.
I don't think that's what you meant, was it, Susanna?
No, that's not what I meant. I just meant the physical act of lifting a child to your chest. It takes no effort to do.
Right, I understand that, but I think that the thought for women, say even on their first, to succeed at it is a huge amount of pressure, and I think that in itself makes them say, "Oh, I'm not even going to try."
Okay, and
so I just think every woman's fears and thoughts need to come into it in that sense.
Thanks very much, Louise. I'm sorry, I'd love to talk to you for longer about this, and to all the callers I couldn't get through, I'm sorry, I ran out of time. The bottom line is we should stop judging women. If they choose not to breastfeed their babies, that's their own business, and that goes for medical staff especially. What that midwife said to that woman shaming her for bottle feeding her baby was just wrong.
This is a podcast of 98FM's Dublin Talks. Remember, catch the show live Monday to Friday at 10 a.m.
98FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy. 98FM.